Hi, Course 2 students. Today we are on Investigation 9, Graphing Functions. This is what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be given a function, like you see here, y equals 2x. We're going to use that function to create a coordinates chart, and then we'll use our coordinates to graph on our coordinate plane. So they're all connected. And some parts of the chart might be empty, so we'll have to fill those in and then solve that part of it to create the coordinates to graph on our coordinate plane, as I said. So let's say I didn't have any of these numbers. What I would do is I would pick some x's. So let's say I'm just going to use the ones that they have here. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, you can see the y's, but let's pretend those are not there. What I would do is I plug in my x into my function to solve for my y. So 2 times 0, well, 2 times 0 is 0. So I would know that my y is 0, and then my coordinate is 0, comma 0. Okay, let's look at the next one. If my x is 1, now it's 2 times 1. So my y is going to equal 2. So that's how I get 1, 2. Let's say if the other was true. I knew that the y was 4, but I didn't know my x. Well, I could plug that in as well. If I know my y is 4 and I know my constant is 2, but I don't know what my x is, well, 2 times what x gives me 4. Well, I can figure that out as well. So that's 2 times 2. So the reverse also works. And that's how we fill in our chart. Once we have our chart, then we plot our points. Remember, we start with the x going left and right. So left and right, x is positive to the right and negative to the left. And then my y is positive up and negative down. So I start with my x variable. This is the x variable. This is the y variable. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6. So that's how I graph the coordinates on my coordinate plane to create my function graph. And then I connect my dots, and that's the final result. Okay, let's look at one more, and then we're going to discuss a couple of vocabulary terms for our lesson today. So this time my function is p equals 4s. Really, your s is your x, and your p is your y. Your input, x is always the input, and then y is always the output. So picking my s's, if I did 1, 2, and 3, I would input 1 in place of s, so 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 4 is 12. So that's how we get our solve our chart, put our numbers in our chart, and then I would make those coordinates. So 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 12, and then I graph my function. Okay, so that's graphing a function. Let's discuss a few of the terms here. If you look on page 627 in your book, I'm going to show it to you on the screen as well. And go through these problems in our lesson. Let's talk about a couple different terms here. Direct variation will be connected to directly proportional. So direct variation is a relationship between two variables in which a change in one variable results in a proportional change in the other variable. We saw that in our charts. As I increased a number, the other one increased proportionally. That's called directly proportional. You're not going to have one line where it's going to increase by a multiple of 2, and then the next line is going to be increased by a multiple of 4. That's not directly proportional. So they're increasing directly proportionally or decreasing directly proportionally as well. Okay. The other term I want to show you is on the next page. If you look at inverse variation, inverse, remember with a fraction, we flip it. That's an inverse of it. The opposite can also be true. An inverse variation is going to, if I multiply by 2, if I multiply by the reciprocal of 2 or divide by a half, or divide by 2 or multiply by 1/2, that's also going to be true. So this time it's going to be inversely proportional. It's the opposite of directly proportional. So those are a couple terms I wanted to review with you in preparation for our lesson today. Please take a look at the note sheet, and let's look at those. If you will pick number 1, fill in that chart, bring that to class, we'll check it over and move on with the rest of our lesson. Have a great day.